We're talking Fernanda Torres,
Okay.
Brazilian actress, really well respected, long career in film.
Mm-hmm.
But she was being interviewed by, get this, Jessica Chastain,
Oh, wow.
talking about her performance in I'm Still Here. And she drops this phrase that, honestly, launched 1,000 memes.
It's wild how just one little comment off the cuff can blow up like that, huh? It really says something about the internet, doesn't it? How we all jump on something and give it meaning.
It's true. Okay, so picture it. Jessica Chastain, right? Huge star, praising Fernanda's performance, telling her to own it. You'd expect some humility, right? Maybe talking about how challenging the role was.
Yeah, totally. That's the usual in these interviews.
And then Fernanda comes back with, I didn't do anything.
Just like that.
I kid you not. I was like, hold on, rewind. Had to hear it again. What did you think when you first heard it?
Honestly, I was hooked. Like, there's got to be more to it than her just brushing off her talent. I mean, she's been doing this for decades. She knows what goes into acting.
Right?
It felt deliberate, almost like she was trying to stir things up.
That's what's so interesting about this whole thing. I didn't do anything, boom, huge online debate.
Oh, yeah.
Some folks saw it as humility, others thought it was self-doubt, and some even took it as some deep artistic statement about acting.
It's funny how one phrase can be read so many ways.
Exactly, and the reactions were all over the map. You had folks, especially other actors, saying she was disrespecting the whole profession, downplaying all the skill and work.
Makes sense. They'd take it personally.
But then others defended her, saying she was being ironic, or that she actually hit on something true about performing. They pointed out that the best acting feels effortless, like the actor disappears.
It's like they become the character, not just playing it.
And this is where it starts to tie into that whole flow states thing, which Fernanda actually talked about later when she explained what she meant.
Flow state. Okay, fill in.
So imagine you're so into what you're doing that time flies by, you lose yourself in it,
Okay, yeah.
fully in the moment, everything's just flowing. That's flow state.
I think I get it.
Athletes get it, artists, writers, musicians. It's this super focused, creative state.
Interesting.
So Fernanda, when she said, I didn't do anything, she wasn't saying she didn't put any effort in. It was more about how she got so deep into the character that it stopped feeling like acting.
Like she was the character.
Exactly. It's letting go of your ego, being totally present, and just letting the character come out naturally.
That's a cool way to look at it. Really challenges how we think about good acting.
Doesn't makes you wonder if that flow state is something you can work towards or if it just happens.
Right, like can you make it happen or do you just gotta wait for it?
Big questions, especially for actors, where so much is about technique and training.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder if flow state is something you can practice, or if it just kind of hits you.
Yeah, good question. Psychologists and researchers have been digging into that for ages. No easy answer, unfortunately. But there are things that can help set the stage for it, like having clear goals, ditching distractions, and finding that sweet spot between being challenged and having the skills to meet the challenge.
So for actors, that might mean really getting into the character's world, doing the research, connecting with the role emotionally, and then trusting their gut in the moment.
Exactly, giving themselves space for that natural expression to come out, not forcing it.
It's kind of wild how Fernanda's experience fits with this whole flow state idea, right? Because even though she said, I didn't do anything, her performance obviously made an impact. I mean, Jessica Chastain was gushing about it.
It is kind of ironic, huh? On the one hand, she's basically dismissing her craft, but on the other, it speaks to that authenticity, that surrender to the moment, and how powerful that can be.
And the internet was all over it. Before this interview, Fernanda had a decent following, mostly in Brazil and among film buffs. Like 300,000 on Instagram, 150,000 on Twitter, not really on TikTok. But once that I didn't do anything comment went viral, boom.
Talk about a game changer. Her Instagram blew up to 3.5 million, Twitter to 2.2 million. Even though she wasn't on TikTok, this hashtag I did do anything, popped up and got over 10 million views. Suddenly, she's a global sensation, all from one little offhand comment.
It's crazy how the internet can make someone famous overnight. But sometimes it sticks, And with Fernanda, it wasn't just fleeting viral fame, it actually helped her career. You'd think saying, I didn't do anything about your work would scare people off, but it did the opposite.
It's almost like it made her more interesting. People were curious. They wanted to know more about this actress who was breaking all the rules.
It's like the universe saying, oh, you didn't do anything, watch this. Hollywood started calling, brand deals came pouring in, and suddenly everyone was interested in her old work again.
Exactly. It backfired in the best way possible. Like her statement, which could have been seen as her dismissing her work, actually ended up shining a light on her talent and getting more people to check out what she'd done before.
Her older movies started trending. People were sharing clips from old interviews. Critics were reevaluating her performances, calling them ahead of their time. It was like the internet rediscovered Fernanda Torres and wanted to celebrate her whole career.
It just goes to show how things change in the digital age. The way we share and consume information online means that something that might have been overlooked in the past can suddenly become relevant and appreciated again.
It's like the internet gave Fernanda's career this unexpected second act, and it all started with that one little remark. So is this just fleeting viral fame, or is she here to stay? We'll dig into that when we come back. We've been talking about Fernanda Torres, the actress whose "I didn't do anything" comment really got people thinking about acting, being real, and how unpredictable fame can be in the digital age. But her story, it's kind of bigger than just her, isn't it?
You're right. It hits on something a lot of us deal with, especially online. This tension between how we present ourselves online and who we really are. Like how much of what we put out there on social media is the real us and how much is just, playing a part.
Exactly. It's like everyone's trying so hard to get noticed, to build their brand, to show this perfect image. And then Fernanda comes along with, "I didn't do anything." And it's like this breath of fresh air.
It's because it felt genuine, unscripted, not some calculated move to go viral, which is what we see everywhere online these days.
It was like a peek behind the curtain, a real moment.
And people connected with that. It's like they were tired of all the self-promotion and fake stories on social media. They wanted something real.
Makes you think, if she'd planned it, tried to make it a viral thing, would it have had the same effect?
Hard to say. There's something about those unexpected moments, those things that just happen organically and take on a life of their own that really grabs people.
So what can we learn from Fernanda Torres and the power of nothing,
I think it reminds us that sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones we don't plan, the ones that are raw and real, even a bit messy. It's like permission to be vulnerable, to trust that even when we're not trying to be perfect, we can still connect with people and find meaning.
It's a good reminder that being authentic can really make a difference, even in a world where it seems like everyone's putting on a show.
Absolutely. And maybe as we figure out this whole online world, we can all take a page from Fernanda's book. Step back from the constant performance, be a little more real, a little more present, maybe even embrace that doing nothing every once in a while.
Something to think about for sure. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another fascinating story. Until then, keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and remember, sometimes the most amazing insights come from the most unexpected places.